comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Popcast. I'm DK Wrestler.
And I'm MD Shady.
And in today's podcast, we have essentially the remaining Funko Pops of November 2021. We got all of them, considering we are recording this December 1st today. And this podcast actually is a part of our 12 days of content that began essentially on Wednesday, but actually began today as we are recording this. This will be day 3, I believe, of the 12 days of content, with next week's podcast being day 10. So that's going to be really cool. But for today's podcast, we have a lot of sweet pops, and there's a lot of duds at the same time, though. But November, I would say overall ended off pretty strong after having 2 days of Comic-Con reveals that we discussed about last week on the podcast. So I guess without further ado, we will kick off with the first set of pops we will discuss about, which includes some of those non-convention pops that were announced during and after Festival of Fun reveals. So kicking off on November 17th, Pop Culture had announced do-it-yourself pops of Santa Jack Skellington and Oogie Boogie with Bugs from Nightmare Before Christmas, and do-it-yourself office pops of Dwight Schrute as Elf and Dwight Schrute as Belsnickel, which these are available now on the Pop Culture website, and these have been seen at Walmart in North America. Then on November 18th, Funko had announced a pop of Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, which this is expected to release as early as March 2022. On that same day, Funko had announced the next pop involved in the Artist Series lineup for Funko Fridays at Target, and that is of Donatello, which of course it's a Target exclusive, and it has since been available at Target stores. Then on November 19th, Hot Topic had announced their own exclusive pop of The Drowned from Batman, in which this is available now both online and in stores. On that same day, Funko had announced a 5-pack of Captain America Through the Ages, which this is exclusive to Amazon, and it's unknown of when this will be releasing, considering that it had sold out by the time essentially I was looking for the date. On that same day, Funko had announced another 5-pack of pops, and that is of The Bad Batch. We have all unmasked variants of Tech, Wrecker, Hunter, Crosshair, and Echo, which this will be exclusive to GameStop and is expected to release as early as this month. On that same day, Bait had announced their own exclusive pop of a 1995 playoffs Michael Jordan, which this was available as of San Diego Comic-Con Special Edition, where you can order this pop from the Bait booth. Then on November 23rd, Funko had announced the next set of NFT pops, which is of Star Trek, which all 5 of these pops are blacklight pops. So we have ourselves Freddy Funko, which was limited to 2,422 pieces, Spock, which is limited to 999 pieces. Then we have Klingon, Captain Kirk, and Scotty, all 3 being limited to 1,967 pieces. And these were released yesterday as we were recording this podcast on the Drop website. All right, so kicking off with the do-it-yourself pops, the brand new do-it-yourself pops. It seems like there has been some do-it-yourself pops recently that have been announced. And now we got ourselves, first off, Nightmare Before Christmas, which I think this is pretty decent. I think this is a good, licensor to do-it-yourself pops, especially with Oogie Boogie. I can see Oogie Boogie being made into different colors and it all looking pretty cool. And same with Santa Jack Skellington. I think that'd be really cool, especially if you wanted to make like a black and white Santa outfit instead of having the red outfit. I think that'd be pretty cool. Then we have ourselves do-it-yourself office pops, which I know that here in Canada, some Walmarts have actually been getting the Dwight Schrute as Elf do-it-yourself pop. And it's also pretty cool that we have Belsnickel also as a do-it-yourself pop. I think that's, once again, also a really cool variant to actually do a do-it-yourself pop of. Maybe in the future, because there's a Santa Phyllis pop, maybe that'll be another do-it-yourself pop. Then we got ourselves Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, and this is pretty cool. I like the way that this is done, where essentially Joan Jett is in midair, ready to just strut the guitar. I think it's really, really nice. Then we got ourselves the next pop for Funko Fridays over at Target. It's a artist series Donatello. Oh my God. I don't know what to say about this that is good, to be honest. I mean, I feel like MD might have more to say about this than I would. So I'll just leave that up to him when he discusses about this. Then we have the Drown, which is pretty cool. I like these obscure different characters for different lineups, and this is clearly one of them. I like the whole detail of what looks to be some sort of eye patch. I think that's really cool, where it's held on by like 3 straps. I think that's really decent, and the fact that it's in some sort of floating pose, pretty decent. I like this. Then we got ourselves the Captain America 5-pack. This is pretty decent. I like the different versions of Captain America. A couple of them look a little bit familiar, except like the shields are a bit different. But I mean, overall, it's still a cool 5-pack. Definitely better than some of the multi-packs we have gotten either announced and or released this year so far. Speaking of a great multi-pack, finally, we have ourselves unmasked variants of the Bad Batch. And I think this is great. And especially when the Festival of Fun exclusives were announced last week and we had the Cad Bane, it was like, okay, Cad Bane was pretty cool, but it would be even cooler if we had unmasked Bad Batch characters. And then all of a sudden, like 2 days after that Cad Bane was announced, this 5-pack was announced. And this was awesome to see. I really like the design of Wrecker. I like the way that they did Hunter also with like the half face paint. And I really like, as terms to the head sculpt of Echo, I really like how they did that. I think they did that pretty much spot on. And a lot of people were kind of complaining about their skins being too pale. But for me right now, I think the fact that we do have a 5-pack of Bad Batch pops and they're unmasked, I think that's really, really awesome. Then we got the Michael Jordan 1995 playoffs version, and this is decent. It's just different color change in terms of the jersey, but of course it is a different number that he has. He doesn't have his classic 23 number. He has number 45. I'm still surprised to this day we still don't have a Space Jam Toon Squad Michael Jordan pop, but I mean, you never know. That might come soon. And then we got ourselves the NFT Star Trek pops that released yesterday as we are recording this. And these are okay. And I like the idea that they are blacklight, but I feel bad for anyone who had decided, hey, I'm going to have a 100% full complete set of blacklight pops, because it's almost virtually impossible to get these pops unless you are paying an arm and a leg to get these. And I do want to bring up also that probably my favorite one has to be Klingon, because of a point that MD actually brought up last week, is the fact that a lot of the blacklight pops have yellow skin, but this one has orange skin. So it's kind of changing the different perspective of how they can do the different colors for a blacklight pop. And I think they did a pretty decent job with Klingon.
Okay, so starting out with the do-it-yourself pops, we have the Santa Jack Skellington and the Oogie Boogie. These are pretty dang cool. I really enjoy these, and I think that the Oogie Boogie is my favorite out of these two, just because I feel like, no pun intended, but he's made out of like canvas material in the movie. It's reminiscent of an actual canvas to paint on, and you could just about do anything on it, whereas with the Jack Skellington, there's a little bit more of lines to follow, I guess. But these are both really, really cool. And then we move on to the office ones of both the versions of Dwight as Elf and as Belsnickel, and these suck. I'm actually not very huge fan of these. I think that there's a lot of different things that could have been done for do it yourself, and even keeping in the office theme, they could have just done like your normal Dwight, your Michael, your Jim, stuff like that. I would have rather seen before seeing these versions, because I feel like there's not a whole lot you can change. Maybe with the Elf version of Dwight, if you wanted to paint it, there's some things you could do. But with Belsnickel, I feel like you can't really paint that and change what the normal one looks like a lot and have it actually look good, I guess, is the point I'm trying to get across. But I know that there will be fans of these. And then we have the pop of Joan Jett, which is really awesome. If any of you guys don't know who Joan Jett is, obviously she has hit songs such as I Love Rock and Roll, Cherry Bomb, and Love Gun by Kiss.
Has to bring up the Love Gun from last week or the week before.
But yeah, this pop's really awesome. I really love the pose, how she is jumping in the air, and I will definitely be getting this pop to add to my pop rocks. I think that Joan Jett is one of those pops that I'm surprised we haven't seen like in 2017 or 2018 maybe as like a Pop Rocks, when Pop Rocks were really getting pumped out in this single form. But this pop's great. This is one of the better like normal 4-inch Pop Rocks we've seen in a while, in my opinion. Then we have the Donatello Artist Series, and there's actually not a whole lot to say about this. I mean, we've already voiced our opinions on these. They're not amazing just because I think we have such a hatred for Artist Series. If I found all 4 of these pops, assuming that there's going to be 4, I think I would actually buy them if I found them for a good price. But I feel like with Artist Series, people try to charge like a decent price considering you get like a pop stack with it. But to me, it's just not worth it. I don't like them enough. Then we have the Drowned, and this is decent. It's cool to see new characters from Batman that we haven't seen previously, and there's quite a bit of detail going on here. I think the pose looks really good as well, and it's a Hot Topic exclusive. I feel like this could be a pop that ends up being worth money, but I feel like it might also be a shelf sitter at the same time. So I don't know how this pop's going to do selling wise, but I feel like a lot of hardcore Batman fans are definitely pretty ecstatic over this pop. Then we have the Amazon exclusive Captain America 5-pack, and this is pretty dang sweet. I like when they do stuff like this. We've seen this with the Mickey and Minnie Mouse, where you can kind of see how the character has sort of evolved over the years. And I think they did a pretty good job of the different Captain Americas that they picked to use for this pop. The 5-pack for the Bad Batch is awesome. This is a sweet 5-pack, and I'm sure we'll see the single pops, which I don't think is a bad thing because I think that a lot of people might just want one character or another. They might not want a whole 5-pack, especially if you're not like a hardcore collector of Funko but do love Star Wars or even just the Bad Batch or the Clone Wars. But these all look pretty sweet. They have the right details that they need to have. And I will probably end up picking this 5-pack up if I could find it for a retail price or not something absurd on the secondary market. Then we have the Michael Jordan with the 45, and this is awesome. I think this may be the first Michael Jordan we've seen with 45 and not 23. I'm not too sure, but I do think it's cool that he does have the 45 on his jersey. But other than that, it's basically just a Michael Jordan pop that we've seen previously. Then we have the Star Trek Blacklight NFT pops. Oh God, I'm starting to get sick of these NFT pops because there's some cool stuff that we get, I feel, but you can't get it realistically. You cannot get it, and you have to buy the NFTs, which is kind of just annoying as well. It's kind of a cool concept, but maybe if there was more of these pops to be given out, like bigger numbers, like 20, 30,000 pops, like not even a limited piece count, then I feel like they'd be selling a lot more of these NFT packs, and then people would be getting these pops. So with the Freddy Funko as, I guess you could say, just as a Star Trek character, this is the worst pop out of the lineup. That's weird because usually Freddy Funkos are awesome. It's not bad, but I feel like it's just really, it doesn't mesh well with the other ones, I guess. Spock's really cool. I think they did a good job of that. I feel like with Spock, you kind of have to go with either orange or yellow for the face, and then using the blue to highlight the hair is a perfect idea. Then we have the Klingon. Yeah, he's got the orange skin. Makes sense because generally Klingons are more of a darker color, so that's neat. Then we have Captain Kirk, which is awesome. This is probably my favorite pop out of this set. I like how he's on the chair. Love the pose. Love how they did the purple highlights in the hair. Everything about this pop, even the chair itself, how it's got the kind of black accents on it to show that it is blacklight, is just really, really cool. And then we have Scotty, and this is all right. Scotty's a cool character. The purple hair is decent, but there's not a whole lot going on with this. I think that Spock and Captain Kirk have to be my two favorites just because they're pretty simple, but they also look really great.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next set of pops, which range from November 24th up until November 30th, which kicking off November 24th, Hot Topic had announced their own exclusive pop of Aluka Zoldyck from Hunter x Hunter, which also has a 1-in-6 chase, and this is available now both online and in stores. Then on November 25th, Funko had announced this year's Black Friday mystery box exclusive to GameStop. And the theme this year is of Deadpool, which the 4 pops that were featured in this mystery box that you could obtain are Lazy River Deadpool, a Blacklight Artist Deadpool, Safari Deadpool, and Paintball Deadpool, which these are available now at GameStop stores. On that same day, Very Neko had announced their own exclusive pop of Dumbo, which this is available for pre-order on their website and is expected to release as early as March 2022. And then on that same day, yet again, Funko announces the next pop involved in Funko Fridays at Target, which this is an artist series, Raphael, which is available now at Target stores. Then on November 26th, Black Friday, Funko had announced a pop of Kate Bishop with Lucky the Pizza Dog from Hawkeye, in which this is expected to release as early as February 2022. On that same day, Pop in a Box had announced their own exclusive pop of an Ellie and Carl wedding 2-pack from Up, in which this is available now on Pop Culture's website, but it is expected to release on Pop in a Box's website as early as January 2022. And on that same day, Zavi had announced their own exclusive of a Superman and Lois flying 2-pack from the very first Superman movie, in which this is expected to release as early as March 2022. Then on November 28th, Pop Culture had announced an exclusive pop of a Naruto on Gamakichi Pop Rides, in which this has since been revealed as a Hot Topic exclusive, and I think is available now online on Pop Culture and should be online and in stores at this point at Hot Topic. Then on November 29th, Pop in a Box had announced their own exclusive pop of a glow-in-the-dark Venom on Throne Pop Deluxe, in which this is available for pre-order now and is expected to release as early as February 2022. On that same day, Funko had announced a huge Cyber Monday drop of a bunch of different Funko Shop exclusives, with a brand new one being a gold Aurora for the Disney Princess set, in which this is available now on the Funko Shop website. And the last day of reveals for November 30th, kicking off, we got ourselves Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars The Clone Wars, which this is going to be exclusive to GameStop, and it's expected to release as early as January 2022. Then we have ourselves a glow-in-the-dark hooded Luke Skywalker, which will be exclusive to Entertainment Earth, and this is expected to release as early as February 2022. And last but not least, for the November 2021 Funko Pop announcements, we have ourselves 2 new pops for the Wonder Woman 80th anniversary lineup. We have ourselves Fall of Sinestro and Flashpoint variants of Wonder Woman, in which these are expected to release as early as January 2022. So kicking off with the Azula, I think her name is, or Zuka, I can't even remember, from Hunter x Hunter. And this is pretty detailed, but I'm unsure of whether I want to call the chase lazy or not, because I feel, in my opinion, the casual Funko collector, or even a person who would not know anything about Hunter x Hunter, would probably most likely say that the chase is lazy because they didn't do too much. They just rearranged the face a little bit. But I don't exactly know if maybe there is a huge significant moment involving this character into which maybe Hunter x Hunter fans actually enjoy the chase. Then we have ourselves the Black Friday Deadpool themed mystery box exclusive to GameStop, which it actually did not release in GameStop Canada on Friday. These are pretty decent. I'm not going to crap on these because I will admit that this box I definitely think is better than the Venomized Fantastic Four pops we got last year. But I do think that these aren't as good as the gamer ones that we got from 2 years ago. I think those were better, but I still think this is pretty decent. I do like the paintball Deadpool. That's also pretty cool. I love the paint splatter. And then I think my least favorite probably has to be the Lazy River version, just because, I don't know, it just doesn't appeal to me, unlike the other ones, such as the Safari Deadpool, which is very funny because he's got the broken net and his foot is captured in a bear trap, which I think is pretty funny, to be honest. Then we got ourselves the Dumbo pop, which I think this is pretty decent. I like the detail involving the bubble bath and the bucket that Dumbo's in. I think it's really cool. Then we got ourselves the Artist Series Raphael for Funko Friday reveals. Okay. Once again, it's terrible, but I think this may be the best out of the 3 so far. We'll have to wait and see what the other ones, I'm assuming, because they keep doing sneak peeks, that this Friday, December 3rd, which we'll discuss about that on next week's podcast. I'm going to assume it's Leonardo. That will be an Artist Series pop. Then we got Kate Bishop with Lucky the Pizza Dog from Hawkeye, which I was behind on the 2 episodes of Hawkeye that released. And actually, speaking of Hawkeye, today, the 3rd episode of Hawkeye released. So I got to watch that also. After seeing this pop, I'm like, great, I'm going to have to watch Hawkeye now because now I want to know about this Lucky the Pizza Dog. And he's pretty cool. And Kate Bishop is a pretty cool character, and there's some hype over this. I think it's a decent pop for being just a simplistic human pop, and it's cool that it's a pop and buddy with Lucky the Pizza Dog. Then we got ourselves the Ellie and Carl 2-pack from Up. This is pretty decent. I mean, we knew about this pop because some retailers, like smaller retailers in the States, randomly got this with a special edition sticker somehow. So people knew about this already before it was announced as like a bigger retailer exclusive. And I think this is decent, but out of the ones we've gotten so far, I feel like this is like the most lackluster. It was cool when we had the kid versions of Carl and Ellie from San Diego Comic-Con 2 years ago, I believe. And then New York Comic-Con last year in 2020, we had that sweet moments of them with like them painting the fence in the mailbox. I thought that was pretty cool. But then you have just a regular 2-pack like this. It makes it a little bit lackluster. Maybe if it was more of a moments, once again, maybe they had like a background of like them in a church or something or wherever they got married in the movie, because it's been a while since I've seen the movie. I think it would have been a little better. But I mean, fans are going to cop for this. Up pops sell like hotcakes. Then we have the Superman and Lois 2-pack, which this is a very appealing 2-pack. A lot of people are really excited about this because I think, if I'm not mistaken, people were mentioning that this is the very first Christopher Reeves Superman Funko Pop, which is pretty crazy to think of because, you know, they've made Superman Pops since essentially the beginning of making Funko Pops in 2010. So to not make Christopher Reeves until 11 years later is pretty crazy to me. And this is also really cool because we've never really seen a 2-pack like this where they're both in like a flying stance. Normally they're just standing on their feet. It's kind of like the Carl and Ellie 2-pack we just discussed about. So it's really cool that you have like flying 2-packs because it's not often you see that. Then we have the Naruto Pop Rides, which this is pretty decent. It almost looks like the other one we got that is, I don't remember what the character name is, but it was also on like a frog. This is all right. It doesn't really appeal to me because, in my opinion, it looks similar to the other one. But at the same time, I'm sure hardcore Naruto fans will probably like this pop. The Venom Pop Deluxe that also glows in the dark. This is okay. I mean, the throne is pretty decent and you got like the little Venom heads there, I guess. But looking at this and then looking back at that Absolute Carnage on Headstones Pop Deluxe that we got last year, it makes this pop look lackluster. Once again, I'll use that word. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't look as appealing as the Carnage one. And it's not because I'm a huge fan of Carnage. It just doesn't look as great as what they did with the Carnage. Then we got ourselves the Aurora in gold dress pop and pin for the Disney Ultimate Princess lineup. And I couldn't even really tell that this was gold. I mean, okay, I could see like the arms are gold, but like the majority of the dress is pink. So I don't know why they didn't just call it like pink and gold, but not surprised. This is now, I think, number 5 in that set for the pin bundles. So I guess it's okay if you're trying to get the complete set, but I don't know. These are kind of just getting out of hand, in my opinion. Jar Jar Binks. Opening up my Instagram yesterday and seeing Jar Jar Binks as a Funko Pop for the first time in I don't know how long is awesome. This is pretty sweet for the most part. The face does look kind of a little bit off, but not really at the same time. Like it does have almost the same sculpt as terms of the head sculpt as the original Jar Jar Binks pop, but I really love that they put a mouth and a facial expression with Jar Jar Binks because it gives you that like Misa kind of facial expression, which I think is great. And I love the pose that it's in. I think it's great that they made a new Jar Jar pop. And I kind of find it very funny. And I wanted to bring this up. The amount of people that had bad hype for this because they wanted Sith Lord Jar Jar Binks. Then we got ourselves hooded Luke Skywalker, glow in the dark pop. This is sweet. People have been wanting this along with, of course, Luke Skywalker with Grogu for a while. And they didn't have to make this glow in the dark, but they did anyways. And I think it's really awesome, especially the way that this glam shot is, where it's almost like a black setting with like smoke. And then you have that green glow in the dark lightsaber, which just will pop out well because green is a great color, glow in the dark. So I think they did a pretty decent job on this pop. And I think both non-glow in the dark and glow in the dark, it's going to look wicked. And there is a ton of hype involved with this pop. And then last but not least, for November 2021, we have ourselves the Wonder Woman Pops, the Fall of Sinestro and Flashpoint versions, which these are okay. I mean, this year is the Wonder Woman 80th anniversary, so I'm not surprised that they're still pumping up more Wonder Woman Pops, but I don't know. I feel like these aren't the best of the set, but I don't exactly remember if I would even consider this the worst of the set because I can't remember all of the Wonder Woman pops that they've made for the set and what they look like off the top of my head. But these ones, they're okay.
Starting off with the new Hunter x Hunter pop of Aluka Zoldyck, or if I think that's probably how you pronounce it. These are decent. I don't mind the chase. I feel like it is probably something that is important to the series, something that an ability or something that this character may have. And I think it's a decent chase. It's not terrible. It is kind of a subtle change, but I don't think it's bad. And actually, our buddy Sean was actually able to pick up this chase version at our local Hot Topics. So he got pretty lucky there. That was definitely a pop that he wanted. I'm assuming he also got the common version of it as well, just the Hot Topic exclusive. And then we move on to the Deadpool Black Friday box. And this is really disappointing for me for a couple of reasons. First reason is, oh my God, more Deadpool pops. Jeez Louise. Not very exciting. Second reason is that I look forward to this box every year. I love the idea of having these Black Friday mystery boxes where you get all this cool stuff in it and you can get these kind of exclusive pops. Great idea. But now it's been 2 years in a row where it's just pops that I really don't want. Originally, like last year, I don't like the Venomized lineup, and then we got Venomized Fantastic Four. Now this year we have Deadpool. God, I beg that Funko doesn't make next year's Black Friday box like artist series of something, because that would just be a three-peat that I would have to just sell off my entire Funko collection and leave a Funko podcast, because why would I still collect Funko? Obviously, I'm just kidding, but I really hope next year we do get something. I guess we're going to have to wait a whole other year. I don't think this box is necessarily terrible, but it's just not for me. You only grab the fans of either Deadpool or just straight Marvel fans, which is kind of not the greatest considering the last 3 years has all been Marvel for these boxes. So I'm not surprised that it's Marvel, but I wish that they would do something else. But I guess we'll talk about the pops. We have the Blacklight artist Deadpool. I think that's the best one because I do like Blacklight pops, and I think that it's not terrible. It looks decent. Then I like the paintball one, but I wish that that was the Blacklight pop. And then, God, if you never want to call a pop cute, this is the one to call cute. It's Dumbo taking a bath. Like, it's just so adorable. I really enjoy this pop. I don't really collect newer Disney pops. I have kind of started collecting some of the older stuff, but I don't really collect new Disney pops. So I probably won't buy this, but it is a really nice looking pop. Then we have Raphael for the artist series. And yeah, there's nothing really to say about this. I kind of already voiced my opinion when I talked about the Donatello earlier. Then we have the Pop and Buddy kind of two-pack, I guess you could say, for Hawkeye. This is interesting. I still haven't watched any of Hawkeye, and I know that I'm going to want to because I think Hawkeye's a pretty sweet character. And yeah, I definitely want to know what's going on with this dog and why maybe why he's got one eye shut there, because I think that there could definitely be an interesting backstory on him. But yeah, this overall is pretty decent, and I think it would look really nice next to that Hawkeye that we talked about either last week or the week prior to that. Then we have the Carl and Ellie two-pack of the wedding from Up. This is okay. I know that there's going to be so much hype on this and a lot of people are going to want to buy it, but I don't know. I think that we've seen way better Up pops, and it makes sense that they do this because stuff like this definitely does get huge fan reactions, but just not for me. And then we have the Superman two-pack, which is really cool, actually. I like how they're in the flying position like that. I'm really interested to see what this pop looks like in person because I feel like the way their heads, like, let's say if their heads are straight in the box the way that a normal pop would be, and then their body is almost at a full 90 degrees from that head. what does the neck look like and how is it exactly connected to the body? And is it going to be a fragile pop, or is it just like any other pop where it's definitely the head's definitely going to stay on there? But this is really cool. And we don't normally see pops like this, especially in a 2-pack form like this. And then we have the Naruto on the Toad. I can't remember what you said his name was, but this one's really cool. I believe the first one was called like Jiraiya on Toad. I might be wrong, but I feel like that's what that one was called. I think that this one's a little bit better just because the Toad is like kind of in this fighting stance or like a Spider-Man like landing position, which is really cool. And I know that people are going to go crazy for this because it's a Naruto pop that also looks very cool. Next up, we have the Venom pop, the Ultimate Venom, or whatever it was called. And this is really cool. This kind of gives me a little bit of a nostalgic feel because I had a Venom action figure when I was younger that had like all the little Venom heads around them. And this really gives me that kind of vibe. I think this is pretty cool. I like how much is glow in the dark. I think it's the perfect amount of glow in the dark, especially for a pop like this. This is so, there's a lot of black going on with this. So having that green is going to, I feel like the glow on this is going to be so sweet because there's nothing to really stop it from just that green popping out of that black very, very nicely. I might actually get this pop. Then we have the next pop in the gold princess lineup. I forget exactly what it's called, but we have Aurora, which is kind of cool. I like that it's not just a full gold dress. I mean, I guess it's not really going to fit with the rest of the pops, but at the same time, I think that it does do enough. You have the crown, which has the gold and kind of like the sleeves or whatever, the underdress. I don't know exactly what you would call that. That part is kind of gold. And then you have the pin, which looks cool. I am really enjoying this set. I think it's one of the better Disney princess lineups that we've had in a while, besides that awesome kind of deluxe set that we got earlier in the year. Next up, we have the Clone Wars Jar Jar Binks, and this is freaking sweet. This is so cool. I love the facial expression. I love the kind of body expression with the hands kind of out to the side like that. Everything about this pop is awesome. I love that it's the Clone Wars version of Jar Jar. I feel like that's a version we haven't gotten, obviously. And there's only like one other version of Jar Jar we could get. And no, it is not Sith Lord Jar Jar. I think you're dumb if you are thinking, why don't we have a Sith Lord Jar Jar? Because it's not canon. It's not even anything. It was never, it's a theory. And I do agree with the theory, but there's no pop to be made of a theory, if you understand what I'm saying. But I would like to also see a Jar Jar from, I believe it's episode 2 in the Attack of the Clones, where he kind of has that dress thing on when he's part of the like the Rebel Alliance, I guess you could say. And he's got that like huge kind of outfit on. I think that that would be really cool. This is awesome though. I really do. I think that Jar Jar from the Clone Wars is kind of my favorite attire that he wears, with the kind of purple sleeves and the tie. I think it's awesome. This pop is so sweet. And then we have the hooded Luke with the lightsaber that's glow in the dark from the Mandalorian. This is a sweet pop. I think that this is kind of similar to the Venom pop in the sense where it is a majority of black on this pop. And then you have that little spot of green, which is going to glow very, very well. And I could definitely see people going pretty nuts for this pop. And lastly, we have the Wonder Woman pops. And I don't know, there's never really much I could say about the Wonder Woman pops as they come out for different versions, at least, because I only really know a handful of different versions of Wonder Woman. But I don't think these pops look terrible, but they're also not the best Wonder Woman pops that we've seen.
Are you looking for great pop protectors? Then look no further than popbox.ca. They have a variety of 4-inch and 6-inch protectors in different quantities. Do you want to get 10 protectors, 20? You can get even up to 250 pop protectors over on popbox.ca. And also use our promo code of Funko Popcast for 10% off of your entire purchase of pop protectors. The code is going on until supplies last. So go get your pop protector needs now over on popbox.ca. funko.ca using our code of Funko Podcast to get 10% off and also free shipping over $75 in both Canada and the US with duty fees included.
And let me tell you guys, we're not just screwing around here. These are some great pop protectors. We own a multitude of these protectors. They are some of the best I've seen. Stop buying from EB Games. I'm not boycotting EB Games by any means, but their pop protectors are not as good. So again, use code FunkoPopcast for 10% off.
All right, so that is the end of discussing about November 2021 pops. Next week on the podcast, we will discuss about the first set of December 2021 pops, which will be exciting. But right now, we're going to bring you guys to our segment, The Update, which, of course, for those that don't know, The Update is a segment where essentially we update our top 10 list from essentially last week, because now we are officially over and done with November. This gives a chance for pops that weren't discussed previously before our original top 10 list to make it to our official top 10 list now, which without further ado, like usual, we will kick off with MD Shady and his potential updated list.
Starting off, replacing my number 8 is the new Joan Jett pop. I think that this pop looks really cool. I think if it was just like your stationary standing pose, I think that maybe it wouldn't have even been on the list, but I feel like the jumping pose just encaptures Joan Jett very well. And I think that this pop is spot on to what she looks like. So I knew it had to make the top 10 list. Replacing my number 7 is the Bad Batch 5-pack. I think that you kind of have to add this to a top 10 list because you got 5 pops that all look really great. It's versions that we've wanted to see. I don't think they're too pale. I know that some people did say that because clones are generally a little bit of a darker skin color, but I think that they're pretty spot on what they need to look like. And it's just a really awesome 5-pack. And then lastly, replacing number 6 on my list, I have the Clone Wars Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is an awesome character. I know a lot of people hated him, especially if you were going into watching The Phantom Menace with high hopes that it was going to be just like you thought it was when obviously episode 4, 5, and 6 were created in the 70s and 80s. So he does have some heat, but I think that he is a great character. And I feel like more people, now that it's been like 20 some odd years, more people have kind of come to terms with that. He's pretty sweet, and the Clone Wars version of him is also wicked.
All right, so for my updated list, I actually added 5 pops, so half of my list has changed. Starting off, number 10 now is the Zavi exclusive Superman and Lois 2-pack. I think this was a sweet 2-pack, and I think it definitely deserved to be in the top 10 list, but it's at my number 10 spot because it is probably very likely that I'm not going to get this pop, but I think the detail is pretty decent, and a lot of people were hyped for it. Coming in at number 9 is the Pop in a Box exclusive Ellie and Carl Wedding 2-pack. The hype was insane on this, and I think this was pretty cool to see another up pop, but at the same time, what I mentioned earlier about not being one of the more appealing up pops, more specifically one of the appealing Carl and Ellie 2-packs, is why it is low on this list. Coming in at number 8 is the GameStop exclusive Jar Jar Binks pop. And I think this is a great looking pop. The way that they added some of the detail compared to the original Jar Jar Binks that was released, I believe, in 2013. And it's cool that we get a new Jar Jar Binks, even though people are complaining about the whole Sith Lord Jar Jar Binks theory. I think that's just a whole load of baloney. And I think this definitely deserved to be one of the top 10 best pops, in my opinion, for the month of November. Coming in at number 7 is actually the same number 7 as MD's, the GameStop exclusive Bad Batch 5-pack. What a great 5-pack. And it's really cool to see the unmasked versions of the Bad Batch, essentially. And it's cool that they did it in a 5-pack and not separate pops, even though I do see them doing a separate lineup in the future. But I think it'd be really cool if they just kept it as a 5-pack and not make it a separate pop. And my last pop added here will take the number 4 spot, and that is the Entertainment Earth exclusive glow-in-the-dark hooded Luke Skywalker. What a great pop that this is. for being such a simplistic, I guess, human character in Star Wars. They did a great job. It's something that people wanted. They wanted a hooded Luke Skywalker, and they added a bit more detail by having the lightsaber green. And especially because you have the green lightsaber, green is known for being one of the best colors glow in the dark. So it's going to make this pop look really, really awesome. And for any Canadian listeners out there that want to pre-order this pop, you can actually pre-order it from our friends over at K-Dog and Fish over on kdogandfish.com, since they have partnered up now with Entertainment Earth for some exclusives. Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of this week's podcast. If you enjoyed this week's podcast, make sure you smash that like button. Comment in the comment section below and let us know what your favorite pops were that ended off the month of November 2021. Press the subscribe button for more content like this podcast and any other videos we do on this channel in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. And if you guys haven't yet, follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at A Funko Popcast. It'll be listed in the description below. But anyways, guys, we hope you guys enjoyed this week's edition of A Funko Popcast, and we hope to see you guys next week when we discuss about the first set of December 2021 announcements. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
Visa Jaja Binks. Okie dokie. Peace in, peace out.